the WWE is going to induct Mr. T into this year's 2014 WWE Hall of Fame. Welcome back, everyone. Uh, this is one I was not expecting. If there was some kind of news about it, I haven't heard anything. I've been hearing a lot of different rumors about this guy, that guy. Um, what I did hear is there was a rumor that they were going to try to um, do a first this year and induct a WrestleMania match into the Hall of Fame, which they were going to induct the Hogan, Mr. T versus Orndorff and Piper match into the Hall of Fame, which would have been a first. And that would have been okay. I mean, it's something original, which means then every year after that, you have to put some kind of match into the Hall of Fame. It would have only made sense. I suppose over the years, it would have become more and more difficult to, come up with a match. But nonetheless, I don't think that's happening. But yeah, Mr. T is going into Hall of Fame, and it only does make sense as far as someone to go in the celebrity wing of the WWE Hall of Fame. This is probably going to be the first one in a while that people are not going to be pissed off about. There's been some others in the past that people were like, why? It makes absolutely no sense. Like Drew Carey. Why is Drew Carey in there? Seriously? I mean, he had, 5 minutes of humor in one match at a Royal Rumble, facing off with Kane. That what? Then next year are you gonna induct Bob Barker for hosting Raw? I mean, come on, it's just dumb. It's some are just so ridiculous. Some people were really pissed about Donald Trump going in. Well, okay, he had a significant role in at least where a few WrestleManias were. I believe it was 5 and 6. I think that's what that was, 5 and 6, or whatever it was. When they were at his in Atlanta, or at Atlantic City, or wherever it was. Anyways, Mr. T. Yeah, thinking back when I was, oh man, we're going back to 84 here, 84, 85, when he was in those two WrestleManias, 1 and 2. Yeah, I mean, I remember watching wrestling back then, and I remember how big of a star Mr. T was back then. I mean, Mr. T was everywhere. He was he had his own show. He was in the A Team. He was a star on there. B, he had his own cartoon, which that might have been a little later, but nonetheless, he had his own cartoon. He had his own breakfast cereal. Just he probably had his own action figure. I didn't have it, but I collected a lot of stuff back then, or played with back then. You collect now, you play when you're a kid. But yeah, he was huge, and he was in the movies too. He was in Rocky. Oh God, what was that? 3? Yeah, Rocky 3. So yeah, he was pop culture icon back then. And the fact that he was in, well, his match with Piper in WrestleMania 2 wasn't, I suppose you could call it maybe you could just about call it a main event. I mean, it wasn't the main event. The main event was Hogan versus Bundy. But as far as, the first WrestleMania, you had Hogan and Mr. T versus Piper and Orndorff. And that was huge. There was no title on the line, but, you know, Hulk Hogan, that was back when Hulkamania was really starting to pick up speed, and he was huge. The A team was huge back then with Mr. T and all that. Um, so yeah, it only makes sense that they put someone like Mr. T in the Hall of Fame. It should have happened a long time ago. It probably was a matter of he didn't think it was relevant at the time or whatever. But I'm sure he's always been on the WWE's radar as far as someone to go in the Hall of Fame. Um, this year seems significantly bigger than others because it is, the night before WrestleMania 30, so that's a big number in itself. So they're trying to get as many, big stars as they can for this event. Um, Now I've not seen him lately. I don't know what his health is like, but as far as I know, he still, you know, walks around, basically has the same or similar look. Still wears the gold chains. Probably nothing as extravagant or obnoxious, whatever you want to call it, as he used to 30 years ago. But yeah, I mean, he still, he still looks like Mr. T. I don't know if he has the mohawk anymore. He may be bald now. I haven't seen any recent pictures of him. Uh, but from what I know, I'm sure he's still in good health. So hopefully, I really don't know. I'll have to look that up later. But but yeah, it's great that they're putting him in. And then of course, like just all the others, you gotta ask, well, who's gonna put him in? Well, my first thought, as far as Mr. T getting inducted, my first thought would be Hogan. But uh, I don't know. I think that might overshadow Mr. T a little bit. I think that might be these two. Oh, jeez Louise. Anyways, um, it, Hogan coming out and introducing Mr. T might be, how do I put it? Not a conflict, but like I said, I think just Hogan. For lack of better words, I'll just say it might overshadow, um, Mr. T, and you don't want to do that. You want someone tied to or significant with that particular star. So if it's not Hogan, it's probably going to be Piper, because Piper was in both matches with Mr. T in WrestleMania 1 and WrestleMania 2. Um, and Piper's a fan favorite too. It wouldn't overshadow Mr. T. Piper's a big star, but it wouldn't be like, oh, yay, there's Piper. Oh, it's Mr. T. It wouldn't be like that. It'd be cool because of the rivalry. Um, yeah, I honestly couldn't picture anyone else that would be suitable for inducting Mr. T in the Hall of Fame. You guys done yet? Okay. All right. Sorry about that. Gotta get in the picture. So yeah, probably Piper or Hogan. Those are my two guesses. Either one I'd be fine with. Either one would be suitable. So yeah, pretty cool. Mr. T going into 2014 WWE Hall of Fame. That's pretty much it. Those are my thoughts on it. I'm very happy about it. It's a wonderful class. Another great addition to this year's class. Probably, I'm guessing there's going to be one more. One more person to this class. It's looking like it might be Scott Hall. I'm hoping it is. Would be great. The reason why it's pointing towards that is because there are, well, let's say I just heard about a party that's going on that weekend, the night before the Hall of Fame, and it's hosted by none other than Scott Hall and Jake the Snake Roberts. So that makes me think that, I mean, those two are a great team anyways right now because they've been through so much together, you know, cleaning up, being in rehab and whatnot. So that would make sense to me. What else would top out this year's induction class than someone who's come so far from so far down? Seriously. So, well, that's it for this. Thanks, guys, for watching. We'll see you for the next one.